There's a lake in Africa that kills almost everything that touches it and turns their bodies into perfect stone statues, frozen in their final moments of life. What you're about to see will challenge everything you thought you knew about the natural world, because this isn't some ancient myth or fantasy story. This is real, this is happening right now. And the images that have come out of this place are so disturbing that when they first surfaced online, people refused to believe they were real. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this lake is one of the most dangerous and mysteriously beautiful places on our planet, and why what's happening there could hold secrets about life and death that scientists are only beginning to unravel. Imagine walking along a shoreline and finding a bird, perfectly preserved, its wings spread as if it's still in flight, but completely calcified, turned to stone. Not fossilized over millions of years, but transformed in a matter of days or weeks. Its eyes still visible, its feathers still intact, but hard as rock. Now imagine finding dozens of them, hundreds even, an entire graveyard of stone animals scattered along the blood-red waters of a lake that looks like it belongs on another planet. This is Lake Natron in northern Tanzania, and it's unlike any body of water you've ever seen. Lake Natron sits in the Gregory Rift, part of the East African Rift system, nestled right at the border between Tanzania and Kenya. It's about 57 kilometers long and 22 kilometers wide, but what makes it extraordinary isn't its size. It's the water itself, or rather, what's in the water. The lake is fed by the southern Oweso Ingiro River and by hot springs that are rich in minerals. But here's the problem. Lake Natron has no outlet. No rivers flow out of it. The only way water leaves is through evaporation. And in this scorching climate where temperatures regularly exceed 40 degrees Celsius, evaporation happens fast. And when water evaporates, it leaves everything else behind. Over thousands of years, this process has created a chemical cocktail so extreme that the lake has become one of the most alkaline bodies of water on Earth. We're talking about pH levels between 9 and 10.5, sometimes even reaching 12. To put that in perspective, that's almost as alkaline as ammonia or bleach. If you've ever gotten bleach on your skin, you know it burns. Now imagine swimming in it. The water doesn't just burn. It can strip away skin, dissolve organic tissue, and cause severe chemical burns. And that's exactly what happens to the animals that end up in this lake. But here's where it gets really interesting, because the lake doesn't just kill animals. It preserves them in a way that's both beautiful and absolutely haunting. The high salt and soda content, particularly sodium carbonate and sodium bicarbonate, essentially mummifies creatures that die in or near the water. The minerals encrust the bodies, hardening them into statues that look like they've been carved from stone. British photographer Nick Brandt discovered this phenomenon and captured some of the most striking images you'll ever see. Birds with their wings outstretched, bats hanging as if they're still sleeping, fish frozen mid-swim. All of them turned to stone, preserved in their final moments. Now you might be wondering, how do these animals end up dying in the lake in the first place? Here's the disturbing part. Many of them are deceived by the lake's reflective surface. Lake Natron's water is so still and mirror-like that birds flying overhead mistake it for open sky. They dive toward their own reflection and crash into the water, and once they're in, the alkaline water kills them quickly. Others are simply drawn to the water for drinking, not realizing the danger until it's too late. The sodium carbonate in the water is toxic to most animals, attacking their nervous systems and causing rapid death. But wait, because there's a twist to this story that makes Lake Natron even more fascinating. Despite being a death trap for most creatures, this lake is actually a sanctuary for one very special bird, the lesser flamingo. Lake Natron is one of the most important breeding grounds in the world for lesser flamingos, with up to 2.5 million of them nesting here during the breeding season. How is this possible? How can a lake that kills almost everything else be a paradise for flamingos? The answer lies in evolution and adaptation. Flamingos have evolved specialized beaks that allow them to filter feed on the spirulina algae that thrives in the lake's alkaline conditions. These algae are what give the lake its distinctive red and orange colors, creating landscapes that look absolutely alien. The same conditions that kill other animals actually protect flamingo chicks from predators, because most predators can't survive in or around the water. The crusty salt deposits on the lake floor make it nearly impossible for predators to reach the nesting islands where flamingos raise their young. It's one of nature's most extreme examples of a hostile environment becoming a safe haven. And here's something that will blow your mind. The flamingos themselves can be affected by the lake's extreme conditions. Baby flamingos sometimes get salt and soda deposits building up on their legs, forming shackles that can become so heavy the chicks can't walk. Without intervention, these young birds would die, trapped by the very environment that's supposed to protect them. Conservation workers sometimes have to physically remove these mineral deposits to save the chicks, which is a delicate and dangerous operation given the caustic nature of the water. The lake's ecosystem is surprisingly complex despite its extreme conditions. Besides the spirulina algae and flamingos, there's a species of fish called the alkaline tilapia that has adapted to survive in the hot springs that feed the lake, where temperatures can reach up to 45 degrees Celsius. These fish have evolved incredible adaptations, including the ability to regulate their internal chemistry to cope with the alkaline water and extreme heat. They represent one of the most extreme examples of vertebrate adaptation to hostile environments on Earth. Would you dare to swim in water that can turn animals to stone? It's hard to imagine why anyone would, but the lake holds a strange allure for scientists and photographers who are drawn to its otherworldly beauty. The red and orange hues created by the microorganisms, the white salt crusts that form intricate patterns along the shore, the perfect reflection of the sky on the water surface, all of it creates landscapes that look like they belong on Mars rather than Earth. But Lake Natron's story isn't just about death and preservation. It's about the incredible power of chemistry to shape life and the environment. The sodium carbonate that makes the lake so deadly comes from the nearby Ol Doinyo volcano, the only active volcano in the world that erupts nitrocarbonatite lava. This rare type of lava is rich in sodium and potassium carbonates, and when it weathers and washes into the lake, it creates the extreme alkaline conditions. Ol Doinyo, which means Mountain of God in the Maasai language, is still active, continuously feeding the lake with the minerals that make it so unique. The volcano itself is fascinating because nitrocarbonatite lava is black when it erupts but turns white within hours of exposure to moisture in the air. It erupts at much lower temperatures than typical lava, around 500 to 600 degrees Celsius, compared to over 1,000 degrees for basaltic lava. This creates a landscape around the volcano that's unlike anywhere else on Earth, with white ash and hardened flows that look like snow in the African heat. Now here's something that should concern all of us. Lake Natron is under threat. There have been proposals to build a soda ash extraction plant on the lake's shores, which would involve pumping water from the lake and processing it to extract sodium carbonate for industrial use. While this might seem like a logical use of the lake's unique chemistry, it could be catastrophic for the flamingo population. Any disruption to the lake's water levels, chemistry, or ecosystem could destroy the breeding grounds that millions of flamingos depend on. And if we lose Lake Natron as a flamingo sanctuary, we could see a dramatic decline in the global lesser flamingo population. Climate change also poses a threat. Changes in rainfall patterns and increasing temperatures could alter the delicate balance of evaporation and water input that maintains the lake's unique chemistry. Too much water dilutes the alkalinity. Too little could make the lake completely inhospitable even to the species that currently survive there. The lake exists in a narrow range of conditions, and any significant change could transform it into something completely different. There's also the question of what we can learn from Lake Natron about preservation and fossilization. The process that turns animals to stone here happens incredibly quickly compared to normal fossilization, which takes millions of years under specific conditions of pressure and sediment. Understanding how the lake's chemistry accomplishes this rapid preservation could have implications for everything from understanding the fossil record to developing new preservation techniques. Some scientists believe that similar alkaline lake environments in Earth's ancient past might have played a crucial role in preserving some of our most important fossils. The stone animals of Lake Natron have also sparked important conversations about how we perceive and interact with nature. When Nick Brandt's photographs first appeared, some people criticized him for allegedly posing the dead animals to create more dramatic images. Brandt explained that he simply found the calcified creatures along the shore and placed them in positions that showed them as they might have been in life. But the controversy highlighted how unsettling people find the lake's preservation effect. These aren't sculptures or art pieces. They're real animals that died real deaths, transformed by chemistry into something that looks too perfect, too deliberate to be natural. And that's perhaps the most profound thing about Lake Natron. It forces us to confront the fact that nature can be both creator and destroyer, that the same processes that preserve can also kill, and that beauty and death can exist in the same place at the same time. The lake is a reminder that Earth still holds places that seem impossible, that challenge our understanding, and that operate by rules so extreme they seem like they shouldn't exist. The local Maasai people have lived near Lake Natron for generations, and they treat it with reverence and respect, understanding both its dangers and its importance. They know not to drink from it, not to let their livestock near certain areas, and they've witnessed the annual miracle of millions of flamingos turning the lake pink with their presence. For them, the lake isn't a curiosity or a threat. It's simply part of the landscape, as natural as the volcano that feeds it and the sky that reflects in its waters. So what does Lake Natron teach us? It teaches us that life finds a way even in the most extreme conditions. That death is not always an ending, but sometimes a transformation, and that our planet still holds mysteries that can stop us in our tracks and make us question what we thought we knew. It teaches us that we need to protect these strange, extreme places, not just because they're beautiful or scientifically interesting, but because they're irreplaceable pieces of Earth's incredible diversity. Lake Natron will continue to turn animals to stone, to host millions of flamingos, to reflect the sky in its blood-red waters, and to challenge everyone who encounters it to think differently about the natural world. The question is whether we'll have the wisdom to preserve it, to study it, and to learn from it before it's too late. Because once a place like this is gone, once we've disrupted the delicate balance that took thousands of years to create, we can never get it back. And that would be a loss not just for Tanzania or Africa, but for all of humanity, for all of us who are still capable of being amazed by the impossible beauty and terrible power of the world we live in.